one of the things that it's really resonates, especially when I'm doing my research and I'm looking at your website and I'm doing the things is the referrals, and you have this raving fan section on your website, which is different. Most people that just have a testimonials or case results is kind of generic. Talk to me about how you create raving fans and what's it mean to be a raving fan, and how you put that across the organization.
Well, again, this goes back to hiring. So I want to hire people that are empathetic. I want to hire people who care about customer service, who like providing high-level customer service, people who value that, right? I want to bring those people on board. So once they're on board, we focus on making the clients happy. I mean, we can't make it. We're in the customer service industry, or customer service business, right, Chris? We can't make everybody happy, but I'm going to make damn sure that we do our best to make as many people happy as we can. That's why I have over 500 Google reviews, right? I mean, I'm obsessed with customer service. I want this to be the Ritz-Carlton, right? Literally, like I want this to be a white glove treatment. So that creates raving fans, right? That creates people who will evangelize, right? And say, yeah, Early Law Group, they really treated me well. They cared about me. They showed me that love, care, and concern. And I'm sensitive to taking the temperature of the clients during the client journey. We put out automated surveys through our CRM asking you, hey, Chris, have you been treated with care, compassion, and concern throughout your case? Have we met your expectations? Have we exceeded them? Have we not met them, right? And then it's sort of like an NPS score type thing. How likely are you to refer to people? So I believe in educating people about the fact that we want referrals, right? I can't presume that people even know that we want referrals. Let's presume total ignorance on the topic, that they have no idea about referrals. And I don't mean being heavy-handed and just slam it down the throat. So, refer us. No, it's more like encouraging it, because we want to inform and educate our clients that that's how we grow. And so a lot of people, if they have a good experience, they want others to also have a good experience. So again, I'm going to make damn sure that we do everything we can to give the best client service possible. Again, can't make everybody happy, but if you focus on that, like intensely and seriously for a long period of time, I think a practice can just, like a rocket ship, just go up and just grow like crazy if you focus on that. But too many lawyers, I feel like, neglect clients, take them for granted, and you do that at your own peril. I think that could be very hazardous for the growth of a practice.
I think that's so smart, because those referrals end up being a flywheel. Right? You get the reviews, it helps you in your local rankings, it helps you your social proof and conversions. And then other future referrals. It just has so many positive benefits. And the thing that you mentioned too is, it reminds me of, if you've ever been called, it seems like everybody's had this scenario where a friend goes and works at an insurance company, right? And you sit down with them, with Northwestern Mutual or whoever, and at the end they always say, hey, who else do you know, right? They've been trained to ask about referrals. I mean, that's very intentional, and you can see it, and look how big Northwestern Mutual is, and that's their main tactic, is referrals. The other thing that you have that's a bit different is your VIP program and the free services you provide. How does that function? How does that translate into more cases? Talk to me about it.
I'll be totally honest, it hasn't really taken off that well. People don't really sign up for it. I thought it was this is really going to move the needle. Honestly, Chris, not so much. We don't really care about that stuff. But it doesn't mean it doesn't have a positive impact on a prospect. It's on the website. It's just another value add, if you will, right? To trying to pull them into our universe over here at the Early Law Group, right? So just one way to try to attract that prospect to us. But I'll be honest, yeah, that has very much. Unfortunately, but you know how it is. You test things, right? And you see if it works. If it does, great. If it doesn't, all right, let's move. Let's audible and move around that maybe.
Well, I think psychologically, just the way that you're positioned with raving fans, VIP program, I think it may work in a different manner than directly, because you have this perception of caring,
right?
Which is kind of an intangible, and then also talk to me. You have the early experience, which I think we've discussed, but what exactly is that?
Well, a little bit of a branding play. I have a lot. I have newsletters. Early edition, early examiner, and the early experience is to me 5-star customer service, right? Again, holding the client's hand, making this the Ritz-Carlton experience, right? White glove is making sure that the team members are always always sensitive to the need to always provide great service, right? And I'm not unreasonable. I don't expect my team members to take any abuse from a client. We don't tolerate that, right? There's a line, so we're going to give you our best service. Now, if you cross that line and you're abusive or you're not respecting us, then we're going to cut bait. I can't have my team. Sorry, it's a little bit loud in downtown Boston. I can't have my team members take. So it works both ways, right? We'll give you great service, but we expect respect, right? We're not just a doormat here, and I feel like that's really important. But it's about culture. We talked about 100 times, but hiring according to your core values, reinforcing policies according to your core values. Firing according to your core values, treating clients in accordance with your core values. Those things. This is a long game. These aren't hacks. These aren't like quick schemes. These are like intentional 10, 20, 25-year plans. Because this is a long game, and the law is changing. A lot of competition is coming in, Chris. Right? I mean, I'm trying to develop those raving fans because there's good math that happens. This exponential multiplier effect, right? They say everyone knows a couple hundred people, so I try to play into that and try to make sure that John and Sarah, whoever, are super happy. And if they're not, the survey is going to tell me how I can get ahead of that. And just one more quick thing about raving fans, I try to sit down with the clients. Obviously all we do is PI. Client comes in, pick up the check. I'll say, hey, John, do you have a quick second to sit down? Bring into my office, give them a merchandise bag. It's got our books, it's got our merch, and bookmarks, all that good stuff, right? Umbrella, whatever, ice scraper, whatever the season may be. And I'll sit down and say, hey, how was your experience? And I want to hear something bad because I want to work on that. And I try to be disarming and try to, my name's on the door, but I'm no more special. I'm no more different than you. I'm just a guy running a business who cares about people. How can we do better? Most people, they have a good experience, but it's the ones who don't have a good experience. I lean into that and I say, oh, okay, thank you so much. Anything else you could tell me? Because that enables us to create raving fans by tweaking the problems that we don't see. Because if anyone, if you're not doing surveys, I would encourage everyone on this call to start doing surveys. Always be sensitive to problems you may have no idea that are festering in your practice, and your clients will tell you, but you must ask them. Now, Chris, after I have that conversation with the client, if they're really happy, I'll say, hey, thank you so much. Would you? I almost presume that they'll refer to us because they've had such a good experience. It's almost like a presumed close. Like, so you'll have no problem. I forget how I say it, but it depends on the situation or the mood of the room. But I'll say, we grow by referrals. Would you be agreeable to keeping us in mind? Should someone in your orbit need a lawyer, right? No pressure, no heavy sales tactic. Just asking, would you refer to us since you've had a good experience, so other people can have that experience? That's worked out pretty well.
I think it's such a different mindset that you have. It reminds me of that book, Hug Your Haters by Jay Baer.
Oh, I never read
it.
Okay.
Because you get information to improve, right? And when you pry that out, when you can uncover it, it's something you can fix. But because if they don't tell you, you don't know, right? You may even replicate it, which is even worse.
Right.
So I think the surveys are super smart. The other thing I just want to point out to the listeners is your approach to this is different. Most of the time it's just super automated. It's a tool. It's like the standard NPS, rate us, how likely are you to refer. And there's a place for that. But I wanted you to, I just want you to restate for the audience. You ask them the three questions are in that survey. It's slightly different.
Yeah, the questions are, have you been treated? I'm all about how do we make you feel. At the end of the day, like that's what people care about. It's not how much the settlement was. They're going to forget that in a few years. It's like how did the early law group make me feel? I want that to be a good feeling, right? And so I'll ask, have you been treated? And this is a couple times. There's checkpoints, right? Beginning of the case, middle, end. Are you or were you, right? Suppose we're at the end of the case, wherever it is in the case. Anyway, are you being treated with care, compassion, and concern? That's what I care about, right? And a lot of people, they say yes, and that's great and all, but I'm more gratified by hearing, no, actually, I had a bad experience. Oh, okay. Well, antenna raised, alarms go up. Okay, let's dialed in. Let's figure out what it is, right? But those are the. It's a short. Not a lot of people do the survey, right? It's not like everyone does it. So when I do get feedback, I do it. Now, another thing I did this recently. I surveyed my staff anonymously, and I said, hey, I was putting myself out there, but I said, what the hell? I'm trying to grow this thing. I got to know how I'm doing, and my team knows better than anyone how I'm doing. So I asked them. I forget, anyone, they can reach out to me. I can share the questions. I forget what they were, but it was like, am I setting a good example? Am I open to your feedback? Right? I think that's really important. Is team members need to know that you are open-minded. You'll listen to them, right? Because if you're not, they're not going to come to you with suggestions. And just equally important as it is with clients, I want team members to tell me about problems too that I don't see myself. So survey clients, survey team members. You'll get some great info that you can really tweak and improve upon.